I want a Legacy Challenge. Hi everybody, I'm Ryan, and I want a Legacy Challenge with the deck I have never played before, which is the Eldrazi aggro deck, which is pretty new with the new Modern Horizons set. I guess it's not new anymore. A newer Legacy deck, like new for Legacy. I queued up because I thought the deck was cool, and I ended up winning the tournament. And what I wanted to do in this video is to kind of go through each game, explain some weird decision points, analyze bad plays, maybe even find plays that I didn't notice were bad at the time. Now, this is certainly not a show-off video. I made a lot of mistakes and my deck bailed me out, but without further ado, let's jump into it. So round one, we got paired up against the mirror match. We keep a pretty decent hand with the Devourer. I forgot what we put on top. We'll find out when we draw a card. But we get a Once Upon a Time plus the Devourer. The Glaring Fleshraker is just disgusting as well. I kept a Micro Spawn on top. We keep another Fleshraker, and this is the crazy turn too, because we get to Ayavugan Eldrazi Temple and be able to play both Fleshrakers, because the Eldrazi Temple allows us to pay for the waste mana, which is hilarious. They play their own Fleshraker, but I think it's very clear that I am miles upon miles ahead at the moment, because we're just going to be dealing an unbelievable amount of damage with these two Fleshrakers. And also having a ridiculous amount of mana, plus the Ayavugan, plus it's just stupid. Yeah, and they just concede to the obvious sowing Micro Spawn. So easy game one. Game two in the mirror match, we keep not as good of a hand as we had before. However, you know, we have the Gaia's Cradle, which is kind of sweet. And also we draw the Lotus Petal, so we're able to actually ramp into like more lands that are good, especially the Ayavugan. So now between that and the Gaia's Cradle, plus a Thought-Knot Seer and like other craziness like that, we have a lot going on for us. Unfortunately, they kill our land because they grab a Wasteland with Micro Spawn. So we just wondering, you know, we're able to protect for a turn and then start drawing cards and whatnot. Unfortunately, they're able to answer our One Ring, but we draw our Fleshraker, which is dope. And then I just cash in on the Fleshraker just by playing a Naked Battle Mage. But then we're able to play a Gaia's Cradle. Gaia's Cradle is insane with Fleshraker. And we're able to kind of flood the board. So like, it's a very, very, very swingy turn, you know, that just happened. We also took Kozilek's Command out of their hand. They have their own Gaia's Cradle. They're just doing some stuff. I have the Fleshraker, so I'm kind of ahead of it, especially since I drew, you know, the second one. They play a Naked Thought-Knot Seer. We hit our own Thought-Knot Seer. I decide not to play it because the plan is to up Blast Zone to 4, because destroying all the 4 mana stuff is worse for my opponent than for me. You know, even though I have my own Thought-Knot Seer, hitting the Dismember is unbelievable as well. And we get to cash on the Gaia's Cradle before we do anything. I decide to Sowing Micro Spawn because we can destroy a land, grab Wasteland, destroy a land, especially since they've been missing land drops, to kind of seal up the game. Oh, I didn't grab a Wasteland? Why? That seems silly. I mean, this is just as good, so it's fine. Okay, they just conceded. Yeah, and so we're 1-0. Round two, I got paired up against the Mono Red Moon deck, which I can't imagine is a good matchup. Again, I haven't played this deck before, but turn one Blood Moon, and then the game's essentially over. Like, you'll see me play the rest of it out, but it's just... my deck doesn't do anything. Like, waste is effectively another color. Also, Chalice for 1 isn't a thing. Like, it's... Yeah, I just conceded. Going into game two, I have a fine hand. I don't like it. I probably should have mulliganed this, to be honest. This hand just doesn't do anything. However, we're able to dismember this Magus, which is kind of nice. Micro Spawn, grab, you know, more ramp and whatnot, especially being able to like Kozilek's Command for stuff. I decided Kozilek's Command in response to this so that we have access to some waste mana and can remain in the game. Bottoming those two cards because they're can't really cast them. Fleshraker is a really good hit, but we are one ringing first to just kind of see what's what. I decide not to cast the Fleshraker off the Lotus Petal in the Eldrazi spawn, just so I don't use up all the waste mana I have access to. Unfortunately, drew 3 mountains with the One Ring, so that was a rough turn, because that should have been a stronger turn. You know, if possible. They're able to sack an artifact and kill the Fleshraker, and we're just in trouble, and I just conceded. So we are 1-1. Can't imagine that's a good matchup. Now, the next few rounds, I want to put a little asterisk by this. I was cooking dinner and playing on my laptop while I was playing this, so there might be some loose plays, because I was only half paying attention. But that's the beauty of Magic Online, right? You can do stuff and play. This is the Bant Nadu deck, by the way. Keep a medium hand, but I like the Chalice, and like Double Wasteland's kind of sweet, and things like that. I also hope the Devourer was going to like bail me out a little bit more, but it didn't. So here we are. Fortunately, Chalice is just nuts. Hey Nadu, I just decided to Kozilek's Command and draw that Eldrazi Temple. Hitting the Lotus Petal is just nutter butters, because now we can just answer the Nadu, which is really, really, really silly. Especially with that Chalice sitting on one. They Force of Will, but like we answer the Nadu, so whatever. So it's kind of like a 3-for-1. They returned our Chalice so they could cast a Brainstorm. We're just gonna try to replay the Chalice. I really expected to be Dazed or Force of Willed, on any of these things. Mike Spawn kicked. Grabbed an Ancient Tomb so I can just replay the Chalice, destroy a land. I really thought this was gonna be Force of Will or Dazed, but it wasn't. So, I mean, we take that, right? They just play another Nadu. Like, sure. We hit the Kozilek's Command, which is just stupid, to answer the Nadu and get a bunch of homies. And then see what's in their hand. What was it? It was like Force of Will and a bunch of 1-mana stuff. I took the Cephalid thing, and then they just conceded. So we take that. Game 2. That was a tough mulligan, but we get the turn 1 Chalice here, plus a Devourer look, which is pretty nice. The Devourer look, we grabbed Ancient Tomb just so we didn't have to use the Lotus Petal for the Chalice, and then we can just Sowing Micah Spawn next turn. It gets consigned, which is a little rough. It is possible I was supposed to take Fleshraker off of that Devourer, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, so I just grabbed Micah Spawn Wasteland, and then they just conceded to that, so we take that. This hand's weird. So again, I was cooking dinner. You should never keep this hand. This hand does nothing, as we're about to see. I realized my folly shortly after I click keep. Don't keep this hand. So spool back Reanimator. Once upon a time, okay, we have mana now, but like if they reanimate, we're kind of just dead. I don't know why I didn't just chain It Heralds the End. Again, okay, we're spotting a bunch of mistakes. So I could have just chained those, right? That would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I should have won this game. I should have chained those last turn when I had 2 Fleshrakers. Wow. I generally didn't spot that when I was playing before. This deck's so powerful. Yeah, it's cooking dinner. Here's what it is, you know. Oh, we win anyway, never mind. I still think you should never ever keep that hand, but hey, we win. Should have won last turn and shouldn't have kept the hand, but we win. We keep the ley line and turn 1 chalice. Like I'm in love with this hand. Little stop to a wasteland. I'm not sure. Okay, we grab enough devour. Hit the Eldrazi temple off devour just to have a little bit more land. And turn 1 chalice landed, which is sweet. We take that. Plus we're able to Stifle-Nought. Like this is looking beautiful. However, they borrow the chalice. Let me see the hand. And they answer our board. It's not great. Decided to replay the chalice because the hand's terrifying. And then they animate Dead Our Thing. Like, this is not good, homies. Then I Wastegate Battle Mage to kill the Animate Dead, which means we got to draw a card. But things aren't looking good for us still. You know, if they answer that chalice again, like, I think we're in a lot of trouble. And then they Harbinger, which is just as bad as a Blood Moon. And like, we're in a little bit of parity, mostly because like my chalice is saving it. That is not good, guys. It was like nothing great off that Once Upon a Time, and then they're just gonna start applying pressure. Yeah, and then they Miracle the Metamorphic Fanatic, which doesn't do anything to speak of, but it's a 4/4 lifelink for 2 mana. Nah, I just conceded. So that was a weird game to lose, like for sure. We keep the chalice. Kozilek's Command, Thought-Knot Seer, both very good. Hopefully this chalice, you know, locks them out of the game. Of course, it gets consigned, which is unfortunate. But I decided to destroy their land, and then hope for the best, and then they miss a land drop. Welcome to Legacy, friends. This is what happens, which is just crazy, and that was a nuts draw too. We just Thought-Knot Seer, get even more homies, and then we're gonna chalice for 1 and get even more homies. It's just stupid, dude. Yeah, it's silly. And we actually kind of win off this Kozilek's Command if they don't have Force of Will. You know, sometimes in Legacy there's just non-games. You know, people don't play a lot of lands, and Wasteland's a good card. So we are 3-1 going into round 5. I believe this is the Sneak and Show deck. We have our turn 1 Chalice of the Void, which is pretty good against Sneak and Show, I hear. This is when they played the Lotus Petals. It was clear it was Sneak and Show, but then they didn't play any either, you know, when they had the mana for it. So that's really, really good for me. We look at our hand. See Vexing Bubble, Force of Will, Traxa, Misty Rainforest. I decided just to get rid of Force of Will, which is probably wrong. I was probably supposed to do a Traxa, just in case they drew one of the things. Fortunately, my opponent did not punish me. Decided to grab Wasteland, just stress them on mana, just so they have to draw exactly Show and Tell. The Sneak Attack doesn't work. We're just applying pressure. And opponent needs exactly Show and Tell next turn, and I win. I did not play this tournament well. Should not have been cooking dinner during the tournament. Hand's sweet, by the way. This hand is. just Eldrazi Temple at the Herald's the end. Just turn 1/2 power, which is awesome. Next turn we get to just Eye of Ugin, Thought-Knot Seer. Or Chalice of the Void. We draw the Chalice and I decide to do that. It gets consigned, of course, because it really neuters them, but that's okay. In hindsight, it's very possible I should have played the Yavimaya, so I had the option of sowing Mycospawn, because green doesn't do anything for them. We were able to Thought-Knot Seer them and take the Atraxa out of their hand, so Sneak Attack doesn't really do anything, which means this next turn, we get to sowing Mycospawn and get rid of the red mana, so then they need to draw red mana and a threat in order to kill us, and then they just conceded to that. At this point, at 4-1, I'm pretty sure I'm locked for top 8, and we get paired up against red-black Reanimator. Keep a medium hand, but I was hoping to get kind of bailed out with Once Upon a Time. You know, I have the Glaring Fleshraker, like we'll see. Opponent turn 1 reanimates Atraxa, and I concede. Game 2, I think the hand's pretty decent. No, it's fine. It's possible I should have mulliganed for Graveyard Hate, but the hand's fine. You have the Battle Mage to bounce something if we know worst comes to worst, and the Thought-Knot Seer. Never mind, not the Thought-Knot Seer. They discard a Grizzlebrand and reanimate on their turn 1 again. Woo! Yeah, they just gotta go off, and I end up conceding before the turn's over, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So we're 4-2. It's a little bit of a sweat. However, we came in 8th. So even though we kind of dropped the ball in that last round, came in 8th, and we get paired up against Stifle-Nought. She was very kind in the chat. I keep a decent hand. I decided to just turn 1 Chalice. I wasn't sure what they were playing because they played a bunch of different things. So I was glad I kept a turn 1 Chalice hand against you know, a deck like this. However, it gets consigned, so whatever. We get an uncounterable Glaring Fleshraker. The Cavern of Souls is nuts here, especially against, you know, the consigned decks. I noticed that they are missing land drops, so we're gonna sow in Mycospawn to grab a Wasteland. They countered the grab a land thing because they knew that I was gonna grab a Wasteland, and they were trying to stop that. They have their second land, which is fortunate. I decided to just jam. We're gonna leave Kozilek's command up to stress, you know, the counter magic. And also if it resolves, we just deal 1,000,000 damage with Fleshraker. Oh, did we freeze up? Oh, okay. Sometimes the replays are weird. Go to Brainstorm. We just Kozilek's for 1,000,000. I decided to leave the spawn token on the battlefield in case of daze. And they force a will. That's fine. So we get another spawn, deal some more damage. We attack, and I'm pretty sure I main phase Kozilek's command here, just to force them to have it. I leave both spawns to play around Daze and Spell Pierce if they happen to play it, because like, there's no reason not to play around it. And I win game 1. Yay. At this point, to be totally frank, I'm not entirely sure what I'm playing against. I hadn't seen the Stifle-Knot stuff. The main deck consigns, I feel like, should have tipped me off, but I really wasn't sure. Ooh, we grab the Fleshraker off of Devour, which is sweet. Still gonna try to Chalice. Going Plains Wasteland is a little weird. Oh no, I went Fleshraker, really. Okay. They go Door Creeper Thrall, kill a land, and now I'm like, okay, Stifle-Nought, like, all right, we're in trouble, like a lot of trouble. I make a really bad mistake in the last turn of this. I got kind of tunnel visioned on, like, oh, Door Creeper Thrall's like, so the Phyrexian Dreadnought thing, like, the One Ring doesn't trigger. Because Door Creeper Thrall, like, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking, because I totally could have just popped Blast Zone, killed the Phyrexian Dreadnought, and like been in the game. At this point, by the way, it was like 11 at night, so like give me a little bit of slack. Game 3. Keep a fine hand. I think Battle Mage is really, really good against this deck, because even if they like do the thing, we can kill it. Disruptor Fruit's only in because I had cards that were actively bad in my deck that I needed to make sure I took out. Cavern of Souls doing a bunch of work here, so much so that they got rid of Cavern of Souls. And this hand just looks great, dude. It looks so good. Oh, do we freeze up again? Okay, we're good. Replay being funky again. Bunch of guys, get some ramp, get some damage in. It's just so good. They Dreadnought Consign. I'm like, oh, this is a little sketchy. I don't know. And then we draw the green source for the Wastegate Battle Mage. I have some struggles tapping for the right mana, but so gross. So gross. Kicked it to just kill the Dreadnought. And then we can also Thought-Knot in the same turn to make sure there's nothing else scary going on. They have all lands, and we're just sitting pretty. So pretty. And we win, so we're in top 4. In the semifinals, we get a rematch against the red-black Reanimator opponent that we had in the last round of Swiss. This time I'm coming prepared. Go for the turn 1 Chalice, which Reanimator, frankly, has a really hard time beating. So we're okay with that. They decided not to play a land so they can discard their Atraxa. So now I know, you know, the race is on. Like, I need to be able to take him out. But we also have Kozilek's Command. I was very lucky they did not have a 2-mana reanimate spell right there. That was a very, very lucky turn, because now what I do is just, you know, either leave Kozilek's Command up for the rest of the game or exile. You know, now, because it'll be much harder for them to just discard to hand size, you know, make a bunch of guys, hit the Atraxa, and they just conceded to that. In game 2, kept definitely a much less strong hand. They Faithless Looting, but discard Show and Tell and Gar's Vengeance, so like, okay, that's okay. Instant Speed Reanimate is a little scary, but that's okay. Decide just Thought-Knot, see what's going down, see what's going on. What did we take? We took the Show and Tell, but then they flashback Faithless Looting, were able to draw the Lotus Petal off of Faithless Looting and then cast the Reanimate from their hand, and then the game's just over. Then game 3, mulligan into Leyline of the Void and turn 1 Chalice, which is just disgusting. Like, them forcing them to deal with both of these things. Like, we take this. Take all day. Yeah, you can have that Kozilek's Command. All good. Especially if we drew into the Fleshraker. Like, jeez. All right, now we just need to draw like one more piece of action for ourselves, and we have the game sealed up. Having to deal with both Leyline and Chalice is so hard. So hard. See a bunch of stuff. Decided to take the Show and Tell. It's less likely for them to draw another Show and Tell than another reanimation target. But then, you know, we hit the Wasteland, and now it's even scarier. And we're in the finals. Now in the finals, I decided to split, so I guess The title of this video is a little bit of clickbait because I didn't technically win. I split the finals of a legacy challenge, but that's my story. I didn't play perfect. In fact, very often didn't play well, but it was the first time I played the deck, and the deck felt really, really good. If you like these analysis videos like this, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.